Welcome guys, welcome to this episode. So good to talk to you again. I'm your host Tuesday at Voice of a Young Person, and today we want to look at the deconstructing of an African myth through the Bantu roots. Yes, you heard me right, through the Bantu roots. For quite so long, we've always focused, when I say we, I'm talking about the society and the mass. I've always focused on the Western, rather than focusing on us as a people, as as Africans. But today I want to share with you and celebrate the African women whom during the pre-colonial period stood to their ground and stood to their culture. Let's dive in. So today I'm just here to tell you guys that queerness in Africa existed way back during the pre-colonial period. And shock on you when I tell you that homophobia ndio uliuziwa kwa Afrika, and now there was erasure of the queer women, queer people that existed. But I'm here to tell you today, this thing has always been here. It has always been with us. It's only that there has been erasure and stories haven't been told yet. And if they have, they haven't been told the African way. So way uko back during the pre-colonial period, we see the roles of women, especially during the wars in their clan, that the women who are being sent kuenda ku talk to spy, and also to make peaceful treaties, and back then killing of women or harming them was a taboo. Yes, it was a taboo. But in the modern life right now, we have normalized femicide. Is it ringing? Stay with me. Stay with me. So today we are here to reverse the erasure. So I'm here to share with you that the introduction of strict Victorian era gender binaries and criminal codes during the colonial era is what structurally institutionalized homophobia and transphobia in East Africa. Yay! Exactly that, And there's this book that was written by Ethel Ruth Tawe. It's known as the 6 LGBTQ plus figures from African history. And when you read that article, it has highlighted, the African stories, queerness. And I would really recommend you guys to go and read the books and come and start arguing with facts, Because you can't be here saying, hizi ni mambo za wazungu, and the same wazungu are the ones who brought the sodomy laws, and they're the ones who are going to against them, Doesn't make sense at all. So we also have queers like the Dagon of Mali. Traditionally, he worshipped the ancestral teachers who were described as intersex and mystical. You heard me right, Dagon of Mali. This is Africa. I am talking about Africa. And I wrote some notes here. Let me show you the six queer feminists and some of the activists and celebrated lives. We have the Queen of Zinga Mbandi, that's in Angola during the 1600s. We have King Mwanga II, Uganda during the 1800s. You heard me right. King Mwanga was gay, or let's say bisexual, And it's crazy how most of the anti-gender rights movement were based especially in Uganda, and Uganda has become an hostile place for the queers living there. We will look at it and we will break down each person in the next episodes to come. We have areas cut of Nigeria during the 1970s. She was an Igbo gender non-conforming person, yeah, and she was also a folkloric musician, yeah. We have Simon Colley of South Africa, 1970 to 90s. You all. He was an anti-apartheid, gay rights, and AIDS activist. In 1993, he formed the Saturday Group, the first public black LGBTQ plus group in Africa. We have the Binyavanga Wainaina of Kenya during the 2000s, a Kenyan author, a journalist, and what amazes me is he has one of these manuals that he wrote, how to write about Africa. I am pointing out these names and I am pointing out the books they've written so that you go and check out, okay? So, why do I say this? Queerness wasn't, or rather isn't, and has never been the Western thing or culture the way you people argue out here. Because during the pre-colonial, the matriarchal structure in Africa, women practiced female husbandry, yaani kumaanisha wanawake walioa wanawake kwa waume zao, or rather they had wives, you know, and this would strengthen the economic system in the clan, you know, and life was so much beautiful. I don't know about you, go find out. We have Mekatilili wa Menza. You see how beautiful women have always been smart. She was the first woman to prophesy. She was also a prophetess. She was the first woman to prophesy the coming of the colonials and the coming of the railway. Yeah? But she said it would come. She sees a big snake. At that time, they did not have the right words to explain, you know, or rather tell. You all go read. We have Siokimau. Among the Luhya we have Phoebe. Know your culture, know your roots, know the women that were, the women that were glorified, the strongest women, and the spirits we carry along our roots. As a young person today, don't be soaked so much into the negativity, or rather dive your attention to know what your culture speaks or what your culture says about women. And yeah, I wanted to also talk about how the missionary came and destroyed the spiritual life of the Luhyas. What amazes me is there were still strong women and vocal women among the Luhya community who continued with their spirituality and wakaendeleza ile dini ya Msambwa. Dini ya Msambwa. Yes, go look it up. So as the late 19th century transitioned into the early British colonial intrusion, the traditional political power of the Luhya women faced a massive threat from the gospel of domesticity, and that was brought by the Christian missions, the French African mission, yeah, the Christian missions. You heard me, guys. Like the French African mission and British administrative laws, you know, which had sought to strip women of their spiritual and agricultural governance. But in response to this traditional framework of women's mediation, which was involved into active anti-colonial resistance, women became crucial pillars in spiritual political resistance movements like the dini ya Msambwa. Hata sahii kuna churches bado wame maintain dini ya Msambwa, you know. These really put them and brought them together, and they continue to provide food for the resistors, provide information, spy. So yeah, as a young person, you should really know what your culture says about your women and see how much women had so much power. And even as you reclaim this power, it is like an attack to the patriarchal society. But you're not here to attack you, really. We are just here to reclaim back our powers and culture and traditions, you know, that celebrated women, that did not oppress women. So wakey wakey, what does your culture say about your women? Drop in the comment section. I'm so intrigued and eager to listen about their Gikuyu, their Kamba. Yes, drop it. Bye bye.